Think for a moment. Imagine waking up every day as a woman, knowing that a big part of your frustration, your tiredness, and even your self-doubt does not come from a lack of intelligence, but from constantly having to deal with people who do not think, reflect, or reason at the level you do. Imagine realizing that many of your conflicts are not caused by cruelty or evil, but by something far more dangerous: stupidity mixed with strong confidence. Today, I want to walk with you through a way of seeing this that is uncomfortable, bold, and deeply freeing. And I want to make you a promise. The final insight we reach together will be the most important and the most powerful one. It can change how you see people, how you see society, and how you see yourself as a woman. Some sharp observers of human nature have argued that stupidity is not just a lack of intelligence. It is a force, a built-in problem of the human condition. A force that intelligent women must learn to notice, move around, and most of all, survive. This video is not about feeling superior. It is not about arrogance. It is about self-protection, about clarity, and about wisdom in a world that often rewards noise over depth and loud confidence over real understanding. If you value deep reflection drawn from philosophy, psychology, and timeless wisdom, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share this video with a woman who needs it, and write your thoughts in the comments. What we are going to unpack here may challenge what you believe, but it may also change how you understand life and human behavior. Many thinkers have noticed something that is still painfully true today. Intelligent people, and especially intelligent women, often suffer more. Not because they are weak, but because they see more clearly. You notice contradictions, hypocrisy, and nonsense that others walk past without a second thought. While a shallow mind rests comfortably in simple answers, a reflective mind wrestles with complexity. And this awareness becomes a heavy weight when your intelligence has to live side by side with stupidity that is loud, pushy, and socially approved. From this point of view, stupidity is not just ignorance. Ignorance can be reduced through learning. Stupidity resists correction. It is the refusal or inability to think deeply, tied to a strong emotional attachment to one's own opinions. That is why arguing with stupid people feels so draining. They are not looking for truth. They are looking for validation. And when their beliefs feel threatened, they do not answer with reason. They respond with anger, mockery, or moral outrage. Think about how many times you, as a woman, have tried to explain something obvious, logical, or well-supported, only to be met with hostility, eye-rolling, or ridicule. Think about how often facts fail to change minds when pride is on the line. The real danger of stupidity lies in its confidence. A stupid person who doubts herself is mostly harmless. A stupid person who is absolutely sure she is right becomes a source of chaos. Ask yourself this: how many of your emotional wounds were not caused by evil people, but by people who simply could not understand the impact of their actions? How often have you lowered your standards, silenced your thoughts, or questioned your own intelligence just to keep the peace with people who could not meet you at your level of reasoning? Society often gives power to stupidity because it feels comfortable. Simple ideas are easier to accept. Loud certainty is more attractive than quiet doubt. This creates a world where intelligent women are pushed to fit in, to make themselves smaller, to simplify what they think, to stop asking the hard questions. Over time, this pressure leads to frustration, loneliness, and a deep feeling of not belonging. Yet the answer is not arrogance and not open contempt. The wiser strategy is realism. An intelligent woman has to learn discernment. Not every fight is worth having. Not every truth needs to be spoken. Real wisdom is not about proving others wrong. It is about protecting your inner peace and your mental clarity. As you keep listening, you will start to see why reacting emotionally to stupidity is one of the biggest traps for intelligent women. Later, We will look at why silence can be stronger than argument, and why distance is often the most caring and intelligent response you can choose. But before we go there, we need to understand why stupidity hurts us so deeply, and why it seems to be growing in modern life. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, who drains your energy more? The people who challenge you and make you think, or the people who refuse to think at all? Write your thoughts in the comments. Your reflection may speak to more women than you realize. This is only the beginning. What comes next will show you the psychological trap that intelligent people fall into when dealing with stupidity, and how you, as a woman, can escape that trap without losing your kindness or your humanity. The real problem starts when intelligent women assume that reason alone can fix every gap. Many of us hold this belief without noticing it. We think, if I just explain it clearly enough, if I just stay patient enough, they will understand. Intelligence naturally looks for coherence, logic, and open dialogue. It assumes that when an idea is explained well, it will be received and accepted. But this assumption falls apart when it meets real stupidity. Not because your explanation is wrong, but because the person listening does not have the inner foundation needed to receive it. Human beings are not mainly rational creatures. We are driven by desires, fears, ego, and emotional investments. Reason often serves those impulses instead of leading them. A stupid person is usually not unable to understand facts. She is unwilling to let facts disturb her sense of certainty or importance. That is why logic feels so threatening to her. It shines a light on limits she refuses to see. This is where the trap closes on intelligent women. We keep explaining, clarifying, justifying. We believe that if we stay persistent, understanding will come. Instead, we end up exhausted, misunderstood, and sometimes even disliked for trying. Often, when clear reason faces real stupidity, it does not bring insight. It brings hostility. The stupid person feels attacked, even when no attack was intended. Have you noticed how calm explanations can sometimes be met with anger? How polite disagreement can quickly turn into personal offense? This is not random. When a person lacks depth, disagreement feels like humiliation. The intelligent woman becomes a mirror, showing what the other person does not want to face. And mirrors, as you know, often get broken. One of the biggest mistakes intelligent people make is overestimating how rational others are. We expect more than they can give. That expectation turns into disappointment. Disappointment turns into bitterness. Bitterness slowly kills compassion. The tragedy is not that stupidity exists. The tragedy is that intelligence suffers by expecting too much from it. There is another piece we need to look at. Stupidity grows stronger in groups. One person acting foolishly can be handled. But when that same foolishness is supported and praised by a group, it becomes aggressive and self-righteous. In crowds, people borrow confidence from each other. Thought fades. Emotion takes over. This is why mass movements, online outrage, and collective certainties often have no nuance, no depth. You see simple slogans instead of real arguments. You see complexity dismissed as weakness. Long before social media, careful observers already understood this. The majority is rarely wise, and truth is often lonely. That feeling of loneliness is one of the hidden burdens of being an intelligent woman. And here is the quiet danger. When intelligent women are always facing stupidity, they risk sliding into contempt. You stop seeing others as different and start seeing them as beneath you. This inner shift is poison. It ties your emotional state to the behavior of others. It makes you reactive instead of in control. So the question becomes, if arguing does not work, if explaining wears you out, and if contempt harms you, what is left? One powerful answer is selective withdrawal. Not running away from humanity, but choosing a healthy distance from useless conflict. An intelligent woman must decide where she invests her attention, her energy, and her words. Silence in this sense is not weakness, it is strategy. It is the clear understanding that not every mind can be reached, and that your peace is worth more than any point you could ever prove. Real wisdom often means saying less, not more, watching instead of correcting, understanding instead of trying to persuade. Ask yourself honestly, how many arguments have you won, but lost your peace? How many times have you spoken truth and felt emptier after, not stronger? These are not signs that you failed. They are signals. Signals that your intelligence needs guidance from discernment, or it will turn against you. In the next part, we will go deeper into the practical posture an intelligent woman needs to protect her mental and emotional health. We will look at why emotional distance is not cold, why compassion does not always require involvement, and why choosing your battles is not cowardice but wisdom. If this way of seeing things speaks to you, pause for a moment and think in which situations in your life would silence have served you better than one more explanation. Share it in the comments. You might put words to what another woman is feeling but cannot express. Now we reach a hard but freeing truth. The goal of your intelligence is not to fix the whole world. It is to stay whole inside it. Many intelligent women wear themselves out, trying to lift every conversation, every relationship, every room they walk into. They keep pouring depth into spaces that cannot hold it. Often this comes from a quiet hope. If they really understand me, I will finally feel at peace. But when that hope is placed in the wrong people and the wrong settings, it becomes a source of pain. This is where the idea of emotional distance is badly misunderstood. People think it means becoming cold, numb, or uncaring. It actually means the opposite. Emotional distance is not the lack of feeling. It is the practice of feeling wisely. It is the ability to care deeply without letting other people's limits control your inner world. People who act stupidly are usually led by impulses, not reflection. They react instead of respond. When an intelligent woman ties her emotions to those reactions, she hands over her peace. The mistake is not talking to others. The mistake is letting their irrationality set the rhythm of your emotional life. Think carefully about this. When someone twists your words, mocks nuance, or refuses to listen, what really hurts? Is it their opinion? Or is it your expectation that they should be able to understand? Much of our suffering does not come from reality itself, but from the gap between reality and what we expected from it. Once you see this, everything shifts. If you stop expecting depth from shallow minds, their behavior loses its hold over you. You no longer feel personally attacked by what is not personal. You stop trying to pull meaning out of noise. This is not giving up. This is clarity. Solitude is also crucial for intelligent women. Not endless isolation, but regular time away from the crowd. Your mind needs quiet to reset. In solitude, you do not have to simplify your thoughts so others will accept them. You do not have to water down your intelligence to make other people comfortable. You are allowed to think fully and freely. Someone once said that we are most ourselves when we are alone. This does not mean rejecting society. It means seeing its limits clearly. Society rewards fitting in. It punishes depth when depth makes people uncomfortable. An intelligent woman who never steps back risks becoming scattered, always adjusting to others, always translating herself until she loses touch with her own voice. Another key part of dealing with stupidity is knowing when not to explain yourself. Intelligent women often feel a strong need to justify their choices, values, and boundaries. That urge usually comes from a wish for peace and harmony. But when you explain yourself to people who cannot or will not understand, you end up betraying yourself. You do not owe clarity to people who twist your words. You do not owe explanation to those who only listen so they can reply, not so they can learn. In these moments, silence is not avoidance. It is self-respect. Ask yourself something important. How many times have you explained your intentions to people who had already decided to misunderstand you? How much energy have you spent defending yourself against projections that were never about you in the first place? These are invitations, not to try harder, but to take your energy back. There is also a subtle temptation that intelligent women face the temptation of feeling superior. When your mind sees stupidity clearly, you may want to dominate it, to win every argument, to expose every flaw, to feel above it. This is dangerous. It traps your identity in comparison. It keeps you emotionally tied to the very people you claim to rise above. Real superiority, if we can even call it that, is independence. It is the ability to stay calm when provoked, to walk away without bitterness, to watch without hating. An intelligent woman does not need to announce her intelligence. It shows in her restraint. As we move closer to the final and most powerful idea, everything starts to come together: silence, distance, solitude, restraint. These are not only shields against stupidity, they are tools to protect your clarity in a world pulling you toward noise, drama, and emotional chaos. Before we go further, reflect on this: where in your life would fewer explanations and stronger boundaries bring you more peace? Write about it in the comments and watch how many women recognize their own story in yours. At the deepest level of this whole perspective lies an insight many intelligent women feel, but rarely express clearly. The worst thing about stupidity is not that it surrounds you. It is that if you are not careful, it starts to shape you. It tempts you to react, to over-explain, to get emotionally tied up in battles that do not deserve you. Slowly, your clarity fades, your patience wears thin. Your joy dries up. The final lesson is not really about other people at all. It is about guarding your inner world. Inner peace is the highest expression of intelligence. Not success, not recognition, not winning debates, but having your own mind under your own command. A woman who cannot be easily provoked, who cannot be dragged into useless conflict, who cannot be forced to explain herself to people who do not want to understand, that woman holds a rare kind of power. It is quiet, but it is life-changing. An intelligent woman must learn to notice patterns. When a conversation never moves forward, when the same misunderstandings repeat, when logic meets raw emotion again and again, that is not a problem to solve. That is a boundary to see and respect. Wisdom begins where pointless effort ends. Look clearly at human nature, and you will see that most people seek comfort, not truth. They choose beliefs that make them feel good, not ideas that ask them to grow. When you accept this, something deep shifts. You stop trying to wake everyone up. You stop feeling responsible for other people's growth. You stop confusing your clarity with an obligation. This does not make you hard or cruel. In fact, it makes room for real compassion. When you see that many people act from limitation, not from malice, resentment slowly loosens. But compassion does not always mean closeness. You can understand without getting involved. You can wish someone well without standing next to them. This is one of the most mature forms of wisdom you can practice as a woman. The most powerful realization is this: stupidity cannot be beaten by direct attack, but it can be made harmless by your choice not to feed it. When you stop giving it your attention, your emotion, and your energy, it loses its grip on your life. Many conflicts stay alive only because intelligent people keep trying to solve what was never meant to be solved. So an intelligent woman must live selectively. Selective with conversations, selective with relationships, selective with emotional investments. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Not every opinion deserves a reply. Not every misunderstanding deserves a fresh explanation. This is not elitism, it is self-knowledge. Just as you would not pour clean water into a cracked glass, you should not keep pouring clarity into minds that cannot hold it. Doing so only empties you. Another deep insight appears here. The more intelligent you are, the more responsibility you have toward yourself. Not to persuade others, but to protect your depth. A shallow environment if you stay in it long enough without protection, can flatten even the sharpest mind. Most of our suffering comes not from what happens to us, but from how tightly we tie ourselves to things that should never have had that much power over us. When you learn to step back from pointless disputes, your energy comes back, your thinking sharpens, your emotions steady. Notice how peace changes what you see. You no longer view stupidity as an enemy you must defeat. You see it as a condition that exists, that will keep existing, but that no longer gets to rule your reactions. That shift is the real victory. Ask yourself one final question. What if your greatest strength is not your intelligence, but your ability to stay undisturbed? What if real mastery in life has less to do with controlling others and more to do with controlling where you place your attention? A wise woman does not fight the world as she wishes it would be. She understands it as it is, accepts its limits, and chooses her place in it carefully. She speaks when words matter. She stays silent when silence guards her dignity. She steps back, not out of fear, but out of clear sight. If this way of looking at things changed how you see your frustrations, your relationships, or yourself as a woman, share that realization in the comments. Your insight may help another woman feel less alone in her own story. Remember this, your intelligence is not proven by how much you explain, but by how little you need to. Inner peace does not come from fixing the world, but from refusing to let its noise live inside you. That is the quiet power every intelligent woman can learn to build. As this journey comes to a natural close, I want to leave you with something that may feel like a paradox. We live in a world obsessed with speaking, with posting, with being seen. But true intelligence does not scream. It does not chase constant approval. It does not beg to be understood by everyone. It moves quietly. It notices patterns. It saves its energy. It chooses depth over noise. One of the hardest lessons for intelligent women is accepting that being misunderstood is often the cost of being clear. When you think deeply, you step outside the familiar stories other people live inside. Your silence may be called arrogance. Your distance may be called coldness. Your restraint may be called weakness. The real test of wisdom is staying true to yourself, even when others misread you. There is huge freedom in realizing you do not have to correct every lie you hear. You do not have to educate every person you meet. You do not have to defend your intelligence to people who measure value by volume, not by insight. The moment you drop that burden, life becomes lighter. Peace is fragile in a world driven by impulse. That is why you need an inner refuge, a place inside you that other people's ignorance cannot reach, where their demands and provocations cannot touch you, where you are not constantly pushed to react. This inner place is not escape. It is where your clarity is stored so you can use it well when it truly matters. When you stop giving your energy to pointless fights, something beautiful happens. You see more clearly who is worth your time. Your conversations become deeper. Your circle becomes smaller but more real. Your words carry more weight because you no longer throw them everywhere. Your silence stops being a defense and becomes a choice. Real wisdom is alignment. Alignment between how you live and where you pour your energy. When that alignment is there, stupidity loses its emotional hold on you. It may still be around you, but it no longer lives in you. Look at your own life. Where have you been over-explaining yourself? Where have you been waiting for understanding from people who simply cannot give it? Where have you mistaken constant engagement for real impact? These are not reasons to blame yourself. They are invitations to take back your energy. This way of seeing the world is not naive, but it is honest. It does not promise a life free of foolishness. It offers something better, a way